favourite segment for many people, James, Lefty Lunacy. Let's start with our favourite Lefty Lunatics, the ABC. Big admission from the boss, admitting they got it wrong. This is refreshing.
Well, it was really fascinating, you know, and Senate estimate sounds like a very sort of dry thing, but I'll tell you what, when David Anderson, the managing director of the ABC, is up, it is always worth tuning in on the APH website because, gosh, wasn't there some fun stuff that came out? Now, viewers will recall that a few weeks ago, when Alice Springs was being torn apart by a crime wave, concerned residents held a town hall meeting in which they said, oh, this is all about white supremacy, according to the ABC. Well, it turns out that the managing director admitted to the Senate that the reporter who put that report to air didn't actually go, I'm sounding like Biden now, didn't actually go to the meeting, didn't go. And so somehow, yet talked to some people who came out of the meeting and, you know, said, oh, this is all about white supremacy, this tiny group of disaffected leftists. Now, the other interesting thing that we found out was that this was an Indigenous Affairs reporter who was flown out to Alice Springs from Sydney. They had other reporters in the local Alice branch that were in there. They didn't use their stuff for this package, but they just put it out there. Now, I talked to the mayor of that town after it went to air, and we also had him on this program, and he said quite correctly that the ABC was inciting a race war in Alice Springs.
But it was so insulting to the people of Alice Springs, so insulting to the victims of crime. Most of them people of Indigenous background, let's not forget that. They're the victims here as well. And then she wasn't even there. And how insulting to the local ABC reporters who do have that local knowledge that they have someone fly in, just push this toxic narrative and fly out again.
Well, the other mistake in the report was that the report said there were a couple of hundred people in the meeting. There were 3,000 people in the meeting, which is about 10% of the Alice Springs population. I had friends who were in that meeting, and they said it was made very clear from the stage that this meeting was because they cared about the welfare of Indigenous children, as well as property and crime, and they wanted the very best for Indigenous children. So the report was completely false. But what I thought was interesting, James, from the Senate committee hearing was that the managing director of the ABC said, well, we got processes and systems wrong. That's why the report was biased. But he also said, as soon as I heard the report, I knew it was wrong. So much for systems and processes. Anyone with any news sense or journalistic integrity, upon hearing the report, immediately knew this was not right.
Well, there's a lot more to come in this space. You watch, because there's a bunch of questions on notice that got put to David Anderson. When those come back, that is going to be fascinating. David Anderson, remember, is the editor-in-chief also of the ABC, so everything that goes to air presumably should have his okay. And, you know, there's a lot of talk, frankly, that he could wind up falling on his sword over this.
Well, he's probably in trouble with the ABC insiders himself because Alex Ante got him to admit that only women have babies. Now, that is a fairly controversial position to have these days at the ABC. So he's on the record of saying only women have babies.